BaconBit, Dad.
You want to see your daddy?
My mom and my dad. And Spider-Man.
Hello, listener. We are here because Christopher Nolan has made another movie.
Generally a big deal.
Every 3 years.
Here on Bacon Cell, it happens. And we didn't all go see it. I didn't go see it. Kent and Zack went to go see it.
It's not my fault this time.
That's okay.
It's Mr. Nolan's fault.
It is Mr.
Or
Nolan's fault.
Sir Nolan?
Is he, sir?
I think he's a sir.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, anyway, so he made this movie rated R.
Rated R.
And this is a 3-hour quote-unquote epic based on...
Quote-unquote epic.
Well, because, you know, epic's used so much now that it's kind of lost its meaning.
Oh my gosh, he is Sir Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan. I didn't know that.
But because it's a sword and sandals type movie, like it is quintessentially an epic, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But is it an epic? That's
Yes.
the question.
Now, I would like to hear before we get into our full review of this. By the way, we're going to be talking about the Odyssey today.
Yeah.
Here's a synopsis. After the Trojan War, Odysseus faces a dangerous voyage back to Ithaca, meeting creatures like the Cyclops, Polyphemus, Sirens, and Calypso along the way.
Yeah.
There's a Twisted Metal crossover?
Yeah. Calypso.
I am Calypso, and I thank you for playing Twisted Metal. Starring Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o,
Everybody.
Robert Pattinson.
Zendaya, Charlize Theron. There's a bunch of people in here.
There's a lot of people
There's
in
a
here.
lot. John
So-
Bernthal.
Now, before we get into the review part, what I was going to say is I want to hear what your guys' feelings were going into this. Kent, you being a big Nolan fan, where were you at?
Low.
Low.
Yeah, pretty low.
We had a therapy session on a BaconBit a few weeks ago, basically coming to terms with the fact that this movie might be terrible.
Yeah. I think it was the fact that
Christopher Nolan hasn't had a stinker yet.
So the press tour was so kind of embarrassingly bad on this one. And I have a real hard time when actors are on a press tour and they start talking down to the audience. And honestly, so did Nolan. And
Oh, yeah?
I was like kind of disappointed. I'm like, let the audience decide if this is for them or not. Yeah, that we could talk about some certain stunt casting that everyone was really mad about. Maybe we can get into that. I really think it really comes down to the quality of the movie. And so I did have a friend see this 2 weeks ago and he lauded the movie. And I was like, are you okay? Are you being held hostage?
How much aligned are you and this friend's opinions on films?
50-50.
Okay, so it was
Yeah, like we both like Nolan, but also he was invited to the red carpet. And so there's a difference when it comes to that.
Yeah,
in the
it's
movie
like
in Sandy.
free food where it like raises the food by like a full star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zach, what about you?
I was hoping that it was going to be good, but I was trying to temper things because I really am waiting for that kind of swing and miss from him. Because a lot of people will say that Christopher Nolan's worst movie in recent memory is Tenet, and I love it. So if that's bad, then that's a pretty good track record, but that means that a bad one's on the way.
Zach, what was Kent's demeanor going into this movie? Because when we went to go see Dunkirk, he was a catatonic mess. He was sitting there going, oh man, I'm so stressed out. I don't know how it's going to be.
Ken was
He
very neutral.
worried.
Joel, you know that when I have like a lot riding on a filmmaker or a movie.
Yeah.
I do generally get stressed out before.
And that's why I was wondering, were you like that with this movie?
He was quite neutral. The only real concern that he had was that
neutered.
the length of time was a concern for his bladder. That's about it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, save my spot. I need to go to the bathroom.
I think that we were both maybe free of too much expectation. Because we were prepared for the worst.
Okay. And
I think that we set ourselves up for success, personally.
go on.
So again, if you go in expecting it not to be great, then even if it's pretty good, it's awesome. Is that logical at all?
You know, it makes sense. Like
yes, Jacob,
it's almost,
it is.
Yeah, it's almost no, but it's also a low expectation or high expectation can truly affect a viewing experience. If you go in with a very low expectation, something is going to exceed that generally, right? And so, is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
I was not expecting anything that could really let me down. Right, I wasn't expecting this to be terrible. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. It's got a great cast. It's it's going to be extremely well made. We can maybe talk a little bit about the big deal with this movie from a production standpoint.
Sure.
It is the first movie that is filmed entirely with legit IMAX cameras, and so from a viewing standpoint, it was the full screen the entire time. And they had a bunch of behind the scenes trickery to make that happen, and it is very cool. But this suitably was an epic movie.
One of my biggest worries was this was going to be, because he's such a filmmaker that we kind of know his style, that this was going to be sanitized mythology. I don't think he's ever really crossed into fantasy that much or that well. And truly, the movie is sanitized mythology.
That was my band's name in college.
What kind of music did you guys play?
Banjos.
Oh, that's a really good band name, actually. Because he is such a good filmmaker, but they only delve into the gods aspect so much. There's fantastical elements, but really this is almost a crossover of there's an old world and a new world. And that is Nolan's probably best way to approach this. Because
well, there's also the law of Zeus and the law of Zeus. There's also the law of Zeus. Hey, don't forget about the law of Zeus.
Law of Zeus.
So it happens a lot.
Yeah. They mentioned that a lot.
But it's mostly grounded in reality?
Yeah.
Until it's very much not.
Which, by the way, no spoilers. This is the journey of Odysseus trying to get back and not being able to get back for a while.
No spoilers from your high school English class education.
There's a Cyclops in this movie.
Yes.
And they show the Cyclops a lot. And guess what? 60-foot puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60.
Practical?
Yes.
And you feel every bit of it too. Oh,
It's
and also
crazy.
I found out. Actually spoke to my wife on the drive up. They filmed that in a genuine cave, like that because it's Cyclops is in a cave again. If you know the story of the Odyssey, it's in there somewhere. You've probably forgotten about it. I did.
Yeah. Played by John Goodman.
Yeah. Yes, because he has a
Patch on his eye, yeah.
and then he wants some food. He squishes the frog. I was very impressed by how that felt.
Yeah.
But also one thing to note, and this scene with the Cyclops is for early-ish.
Yeah, it
first
is.
act.
Yeah.
And it is what shows you what you can expect from this movie, which is a lot of sensory. Okay, this is a loud movie. We saw it in IMAX.
Are you surprised by that at all with Nolan?
This is an extremely loud movie.
But is it loud like in some of the movies where the soundtrack is overplaying the dialogue and you can't hear what they're saying?
It's not soundtrack, although sometimes it is.
sound
It's
effects.
conversation and sound effects.
There's a lot of sound effects. There's a lot of things happening in that way. There is, of course, there's a lot of music that's coming along with it, but it's ambiance because it's Ludwig.
How is the score? Because they said no orchestra.
Almost forgettable until the end.
Okay.
And then it's adding so much tension that you're starting to sweat.
Because it's brassy. It almost sounds like at one point jazzy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a weird mix.
Did Damien Chazelle direct this?
I mean, this is Nolan's way of kind of modernizing the story, and that is very clear here. And I know people will hate that, but, and I will say, before jumping into the way the story is told, the worst part about this movie is the dialogue. It's not necessarily the script, but it's the dialogue.
Yeah.
Because like we made fun of, it's so, as Zach, as you said it, dumbed down for the audience.
I was going to say that, and I agree with you. I think the worst part of this movie is the dialogue, but I'll also say the worst part of this movie is the thing that's in it the least. Because there's not a ton of dialogue relative to action, relative to just kind of sitting there and thinking or sailing.
Yeah.
So they don't talk a ton. This is by no means Oppenheimer.
Are you saying it's the dialogue only exists for exposition, not for character building?
Yes.
Yeah.
To explain what's going on. And frankly, you have to deal with an entire character here who is not a character, but a plot point. And again, that person exists to explain things or be explained to.
But Joel, for example, there's a character who, these are all soldiers. One will probably die and says, it's like, do you want me to give your family any message? Yeah. Tell them important things and stuff. And I was like, oh, that was bad. And there were times I was taken out of the movie.
But is it like A Knight's Tale where it's intentionally anachronistic?
No. Oh. However.
No, it's just, hey, remember how Juno was funny?
However, the cast, which is probably half British, all speak American accents.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is using
Tom Holland uses British accent?
No. Not Robert Pattinson. Anne Hathaway can do an English accent.
Quite well.
Doesn't.
Why did they not have him go British?
It's truly...
This is not an American tale.
I think it's a people-pleasing sort of movie.
Because it's not in Greek either.
And because isn't it funny that like anytime you watch a Roman show, it's always British people because it adds a little bit of class.
Yeah.
They don't even have the pretense here.
That's the thing. There actually is no reason for that. There's no reason to have British accents in something like this. It doesn't make any sense.
It gives class.
But why does it feel weird?
It does feel weird. Now, Joel, jumping into the way this story is told, you wouldn't be surprised to know that it jumps back and forth through time.
What? Look, okay, I've seen a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, and he's very linear. Every time, start to finish, straight through, no time weirdness.
From a storytelling standpoint, I made the comparison. This is actually very similar to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Think about how Oppenheimer was told. Let's take away the black and white section of Oppenheimer, but it's we have story being told, which sends us to a flashback that's not in chronological order.
Our storytellers here, and not necessarily they're going over his story, but it starts with Tom Holland and his mother and their loyal servant.
His mommy.
His mom. Mommy. And it's basically saying, hey, this is present day. I'm going to look for my dad. And then it jumps to Odysseus, who was like, it's present day. How did I get here? And then it doesn't even
hold on. You're probably wondering how I got here.
A little bit. But then it doesn't even go back to the Trojan battle. It's like, here's a little mix of things, and then a mix of things. And then we're going to go back even further.
We're going to meet another character and then talk about what happened in a battle.
Do you feel like Nolan time jumping is gimmicky now?
Here's why it works.
Did the storytelling jump around time enhance the story or just make it
totally enhanced it? And I'll tell you why. Okay. Because when they introduce a character, you then see when that character was important to Odysseus' story.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like, oh, John Leguizamo's character was important for this reason. Or
which by the way, John Leguizamo's in this movie.
Hey.
Welcome edition.
John Bernthal is important in this part of the story. And so you're like, oh, because if this was just a straight line where it's like Trojan battle, blah, blah, blah. I know the middle is kind of boring. And honestly, the ending is supposed to be boring. Okay. I'm going to get to my review real quick because we're talking about how this story is told because it's a Nolan review.
Yeah.
I was watching this movie going, man, I feel no emotion here. Mm-hmm. I got to the end of the second act, which by the way is the end of the second hour. And I went, this is probably Nolan's worst movie. Like
a B is worse Nolan.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, it's super well made, and I like the way it's being told. I don't like the way it's being described as far as the script goes, but I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then the third act started and didn't stop. It's crazy that the part that I find to be the most boring in Wishbone and in the book
Wishbone
was the best part of the movie and completely won me over.
Okay.
This is Nolan's best ending third act of any of his movies. Truly.
Inception's included in there?
Actually,
Interstellar's included in there?
Interstellar's pretty close because I love where it goes, but it's still weird.
Yeah.
This one, he just nailed it. The emotions.
The Dark Knight?
Yeah. Yes.
Who are you?
Totally. I think Dark Knight, he had to scramble a little bit. This one, the emotions came in, the score worked. Every element worked for me. Oh. And it felt dangerous. And it didn't feel like I was like reading a slow moving book anymore that described, honestly, going to an island, scary island, running off the island. It became a really cool experience. Zach?
Yeah, I was pretty won over fairly early on. I think that the first real tense sequence, which we mentioned earlier with the Cyclops, I was on the edge of my seat, really like enthralled with what was going on, and it had my attention from that point forward. I could do without Anne Hathaway's overacting in this movie.
Yeah,
she is giving it at 110% all the time, and it really like stands out. Like I wish I was preferring to see you remember 300, the wife in 300.
Yeah, Lena Headey.
That performance was going to be more appropriate. I didn't care for Anne Hathaway, didn't care for Tom Holland, but they also weren't bad or distracting. They just weren't great.
Tom Holland is really affable. It's one of my favorite roles of him.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's
not a great actor.
He looks really good, like,
but because he's like the boy prince, you're like, I'm behind this.
It's actually it makes sense because he's not yet come of age officially, even though he's like 24.
Yeah, he's 27.
But yeah, he's good in the movie.
Yeah,
not great. And yeah, maybe some of the stunt casting, it didn't really have too much bearing on the movie.
It really didn't.
It's kind of like Dunkirk. I would there's a lot of comparisons to Dunkirk that I was making, which for me was like a very tense movie with a lot of sound.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
Yeah.
But everyone was worried about Harry Styles, and then you saw the movie and we're like, whatever.
Yeah.
A similar
brilliant.
deal with that. But yeah, I was won over and having a good time, and we haven't talked about it, but I thought Matt Damon was fantastic.
He's really good.
Because he's not
Matt Damon.
he's not acting as much as he's like, this is kind of back to the Jason Bourne days of like, be stoic and
He has a job to do
the action thing.
Yeah.
Odysseus as a character, if you're worried about any historical inaccuracies to your original story, it's that Odysseus in this is kind of a good guy. And in the original story, I feel like he kind of was not the best kind of guy.
I mean, he's cursed, but he's a good guy.
yeah, but he tries to be honorable, tries, and does okay most of the time.
Yeah.
But I thought that Matt Damon's performance was really good. I thought he was super engaging and kind of everything, and in doing both. I need to do right by my men, but also I am pretty selfish. But I don't want to admit that I'm selfish. It was quite a balance that, of course, he did really well, and in general just played the weary of going on this huge journey over a couple of decades quite well.
Okay, so you both liked it then.
Yeah.
Where are we landing here, star-wise and letter-wise and ranking-wise?
I really liked it.
Like, compared to other Nolan movies, where would you put it?
It's so different compared to Oppenheimer's, even though the storytelling is similar. It's like, this is a big action movie. So I think you got to compare it more to like a Tenet, maybe an Inception, but Dunkirk, of course. I like it more than Dunkirk.
It's a bottom half Nolan movie,
Okay.
but it's still a really high B plus.
Okay, so the third act didn't necessarily surpass any of those other movies, but you like the third act more
because
than
it completed the whole picture. I was like, oh yeah.
It's a long movie. I didn't feel the runtime though.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Moana felt longer. I didn't yawn once in this movie, by the way.
What letter did you give it?
B plus.
B plus.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you're like, I guess B.
But here's the thing.
plus.
It could be an A minus, but also some of Nolan's best movies are A minus for me, and so I'm like, does it deserve that yet? I'm gonna have to see it again, and I want to.
And Zach, where'd you land out with your ranking?
Yeah,
rating?
I'm at least an 8.
Okay.
It might go higher. I really liked it. I still have my issues with like some of the dialogue and how it was played out, and I think there are some maybe bizarre choices that way. But from a movie making standpoint,
Can I ask a very Joel question?
Yeah.
Why is it R?
Okay, that's where I was gonna go.
let's just say this: a couple of things. Obviously, it's a violent movie,
Yeah.
but not a gory movie.
But like even 300's violence is kind of stylized, and
That's
so it was less
very
offensive.
gory. That is very. This is not
Compared to this, that's super
This
gory.
is not. This is almost PG-13 levels of gore.
You see,
He walks that fine line of PG-13 and R so many times.
But let's just say this: the modern word that you need to worry about is not mom or dad. Okay, there's about 5 instances of a no word.
Oh, really? The
Yes.
big no word?
The big one.
Huh.
and there's a man butt and side man butt.
And man, and
Those are the worst superhero duo, by the way.
lots of man back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but I was
300 would kind of.
I was really watching and I was like, I think he just really wants to sell that this is a sword and sandals war epic, like similar to a Braveheart thing that maybe didn't need to be.
I just think he didn't want kids cheating on their junior high English exams.
Yeah,
Could be it.
Put the little 17 rating
So
on there.
I would say it's a softer R, a little bit of language, like I said, but
easily editable.
no cess and nudity.
That's what I wondered.
Well, a little bit of
with
like,
Charlize Theron, I wondered about that whole thing.
soldier nudity,
Oh, okay.
kind of like the man butt, right? It was
Yeah.
like from a soldier's perspective, where you're like, I can see that guy's tush, but also nice tush.
So have we sold you on this movie? Because I was watching going like, would Joel like this movie?
You've alleviated a little bit of my fears about this movie because I like you, was very much like, my expectations are dropping on this because the rap narration.
Okay.
Was that distracting?
No.
That's totally overblown. Not even.
I made that overblown a little bit because I was like, Travis Scott, he's not an actor, whatever. He's
makes
he's the bard. He says like, one day, man, went on a journey or whatever. That's it. He does have the closing credit song, but it's less like, yeah, it is more, it's a background ambient sort of song.
If you know, in the Odyssey, there is essentially a banquet hall full of suitors that are just, drinking and eating all of their stuff. And in that hall, Travis Scott character just kind of tells the stories, including those of Odysseus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how are the sirens?
It's a very short part.
he chickened out. And I'm not saying chickened out as far as like could have showed more, because I think he actually played it safe. Mm-hmm. But like it's not a very long or intense scene.
Okay.
You and me and the devil makes.
Like they do an editing choice within this scene that makes sense, but I was like, oh, that could have been a lot scarier. That said, there are 2 scenes here. One is the Cyclops, one involves a witch, that are horror films.
Okay.
There's one with a witch
that
it's a A24 film.
Oh,
There's a very A24 moment for sure.
And I was like, Nolan,
intriguing.
jeez.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of A24, Mia Goth's in this movie.
Yeah, I figured if she was in it, it had to be A24. So yeah,
Barely weird.
Barely, with a very strange.
And Robert
I saw her in the
Pattinson.
cast list, and I was like, that makes sense.
Robert Pattinson's face, you just want to punch it.
Yeah.
All the time.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. Robert Pattinson is so reliably good in everything. And I think that he is delightfully uncomfortably evil in this.
Okay. So
Any other
I guess
questions?
My other question would be, would this be helpful to an English student getting ready for an exam, having not read the book? Could they watch this and be like, oh, I got this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Because I think that what this explores is more the feelings Odysseus has on the situation, as opposed to like, this is what happened.
Yeah, or knowing any of the names of his soldiers.
Okay.
They reference one, and that is the Elliot Page soldier a lot. But the soldiers he travels with most of the time, you're like, faceless.
Okay.
Well, that's also like,
That seems to be this movie's Achilles heel then.
there's also, well, that was in the Iliad.
Ah, yes.
Sorry.
Which this movie kind of also goes into.
It dabbles in Iliad.
Yeah, in
I would.
fact-
I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of want an Iliad prequel. Just
I
saying.
know, me too.
How's
Wait, we kind of have a good one.
Yeah.
how's it going to do at the box office?
There's a lot of bad press about it, but it's already sold so well through IMAX screens. It's going to make a big first weekend impact. I don't know about concurrent weekends. However,
Better or worse than Moana?
yeah, right. There is no competition for the next 2 movie weekends. One weekend, because then Spider-Man comes out 2 weeks after. So it will do really well for 2 weekends and then probably drop off.
Okay.
It's not going to do as well as Oppenheimer because there's no meme associated with it. Right?
Can we make a meme?
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. We're going to look back and go, wow, Oppenheimer makes so much money. It's like you have to know what was going on at the time.
I could see this one being 600 million though.
But I think that it is approachable.
Yes.
Because it's not trying to be smarter than you. It's not heady.
Well, sometimes it's dumber than you. No, we're dumb.
Sometimes it's a little bit dumber than you, and sometimes it's just a cool action movie.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a pretty easy recommend for most people. For me,
Okay. Then I guess it's my time to take my journey back home to my wife. I hope nothing goes wrong on the way, but I wish you gentlemen well.
Don't defy the gods.
20,
Zeus's law.
20 years later.
Somewhere, the Odyssey. We're given spoilers, you see. All right, Joel. We'll see you later.
How do
I miss you.
spoil this kind of story?
Yeah, we're really just going to have to spoil like elements, maybe the way it's told. Bye, Joel. Because it's a known story.
Yeah.
But there were also surprises for me. I'm like, how many times do they go to these crazy islands and run away? I guess we can go sequentially for us.
Sure.
Odysseus' story is he is haunted, but it's only really known until later by what happened with the Trojan horse,
Yeah.
the walls of Troy,
Yeah.
and it basically ransacking the city. And it doesn't go into that until later.
No, but the framing of that is we didn't really talk about Calypso.
Yeah.
Where he is on an island and trying to remember what happened.
Yeah.
And recounting those, thus allowing us to go back and live them.
He's been gone for 20 years at this point. He left his family.
Yeah. 10 years in Troy.
Yeah.
In that battle.
Yes. And then 10 years trying to make his way back home. And so he's recounting the story, and you can even tell, even after the Battle of Troy, that he's mad at his ruler, Agamemnon. And he's like, let's go home. You're right. Let's go home a different way. And they do. And it is a cursed voyage, mostly because of the decisions he makes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's quite, he's got some hubris.
Yeah, and
quite
he's
pompous.
impulsive.
He's trying to, defy the gods.
Yes.
And his men don't want to do that, but they are also loyal.
Like, for example, there's a cheap shot where they get away from the Cyclops. And the Cyclops wasn't altogether, like, threatening, right? In fact, the scene is almost a little bit delayed because they go in a cave. There's a bunch of sheep there, and the Cyclops is like, oh, I'm going to eat your head. Right? And he only picks 2 people off maybe a night, and that's probably his game plan. He goes to sleep.
Oh.
And they kind of wait him out a couple days. And in this movie, you're like, well, they're all just sitting around the campfire. Like, this is kind of silly, right? But they do get out.
Well,
and then
they kind of try to get out in waves.
Yeah. But then when they get out, Matt Damon's character, Odysseus, is like, I'm going to shoot him in the face with an arrow.
So this is the only one I remember from the Odyssey. And it played out a little bit differently, but he gave them a name, which was like No Man. Mm-hmm. And so No Man hurt me or whatever.
Yes.
So there was that whole thing. But as they were escaping, because Odysseus is full of himself, he basically was like, no, you need to know my name is Odysseus. And then he's like, well, now I know it's you. So that was kind of his hubris on the way
They
out.
don't go into that very much.
Yeah. And so that was...
It's literally a cheap shot.
Played out differently where it's like, nah, man, like, I'm mad at you and I'm going to, for no reason, shoot you in the eye.
Yeah. And so when they get away, because the Cyclops is Poseidon's son, the seas will now be cursed.
Yeah.
Like their voyage is in trouble. And they go from there, and I love how much they run from the island. It's so funny to me. And they go to an island where it's like, oh, it's pretty lush. They need food. Like at all times, the men are starving.
Right.
They need to go to this island. Then all of a sudden, there's the giant soldiers, which to me, this part felt it's either this one or the spider legs in the cliffs, where I was like, unimportant.
Yeah.
Like that could have been cut out of the movie.
But the trees moved, Kent.
Yeah, the trees move. I actually was okay with that element, because that's Nolan trying his hand at fantasy.
Sure.
Right? It's like the island is working against you. Also, there are giant armored men that will wipe out 2/3 of you.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like that, I was like, really quick scene. Okay. And
because this really does play out in almost vignettes.
Yes.
Of like, oh, what are we doing on this island today?
Yeah.
Island of the week.
Yeah, it truly is. And it is a way, because you need to see throughout the movie his men dwindle.
Yeah.
Right? From a giant battalion to just his ship to guys that want to start a mutiny.
And this is from choices that he makes, choices that they make.
Yeah.
And just general circumstance.
Okay, let's talk about the witch scene.
Okay, this is where we get full A24.
Yeah.
Almost like body horror.
Yeah.
Where the men who are very hungry eat the pork soup stew thing.
Yeah.
And then she turns them into pigs.
Yeah. They run into one woman who lives in a cottage, like definitely a witch.
Yeah.
And they can't stop eating. And it's this commentary of like,
it's kind of gross when they're eating too.
yeah, men and their appetites. It looks like they're like eating intestines that never end from their soup bowl.
Yeah.
And she literally grabs their faces, and you see like wild animals all around her cottage, right? Like I'm talking lions, tigers, and bears.
Seriously.
And so she starts grabbing their faces and like molding them as if they're clay into pigs.
Reaching down their throat at one point.
Oh my goodness.
It's gross.
It's horrifying.
Not Nolan-esque in any way, shape, or form.
I was so proud of him at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, good job. Like that looks like a painful process that the men almost have no idea what's happening to them. And of course, when they're pigs, Odysseus comes up and he's like, she's definitely a witch. I need to be friends with her.
Well, yeah, he's figured out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the man butt, but he was hunting a deer, shot it with an arrow, and then when he went to go find it, it was a man.
Yes.
And he's knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then approaches the witch.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like, hey, this is going to be a fight scene. It's now me on my lonesome. It is like, hey, could you cut it out?
Yeah.
Could you restore my men?
I know
they just
what
want
you're
to get
doing.
home. Yeah.
We didn't do anything bad to you.
Yeah.
Let me go.
There are some digs at the masculine in this movie, right? And this is maybe more the adaptation or anything, but it does play into soldiers that will destroy at any cost.
Sure. And
right?
they do.
And they do.
We see that.
And so there is a real like theme of being cursed and what fate means.
Yeah.
And by the way, throughout this movie, you do see Zendaya's...
I was about to ask about Zendaya.
Zendaya's Athena.
Zendaya Coleman Smith Holland.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She is a shrouded goddess in this movie. And do they ever come out and say she's Athena?
Yes.
Okay.
Many times.
In the beginning or near the end?
Throughout. Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
I caught that she was Athena.
I'll tell you why I loved her reveal at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. This is a spoiler.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Because, she shows up to Matt Damon a lot, and because he did disrespect her and her statue, and that's what the Trojan horse was kind of there, like, it's a gift to Athena, yada, yada, yada. And so she's kind of watching going like, really? Again? Kind of throughout the movie.
Yeah.
With Zendaya face where she just kind of looks upset a little bit.
But she's kind of acting as a conscience.
Yes. And so she shows up sporadically. All fine, whatever.
He sees her. She's not there.
Yeah. Let's see. They leave the Witch Island. They then have to create like a portal to Hades where they talk to soldiers that have died.
That was cool.
And to see how to get home. And honestly, I'm like, Nolan, way to go.
The way that he portrayed Hades.
It wasn't even like, hey, you have to go down to hell.
No.
And it's going to look crazy or whatever. It's like, you're bringing hell to you.
It was kind of like, almost more like the Davy Jones locker in Pirates 3, where it's the salt flats.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, you're on just like a burned island?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But it worked out.
Yeah.
And he is then told like that his entire crew will die. He's the only one that will get home. And this whole movie, like, it keeps jumping back and forth to Tom Holland being like, is my dad even alive? Like, and you do hear Odysseus saying, you'll get home. But that's not even like halfway through his journey, right? Like he then, it keeps going back with his story with Calypso. And honestly, like, you don't hate her. Like, how did you feel about Charlize Theron's Calypso?
She's fine.
Because she's very selfish in the book.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you just, I know that, but
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he's kind of captive.
Yeah. For 7 years.
Yeah, but she doesn't seem like, oh, but I did it. I wanted you to be here. I love you. It was just like, yeah, fine. I've been keeping you here.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. No, if you want to stay forever, we should. But in a way where she's like, okay,
I knew this was going to happen eventually.
go home.
Fine.
Yeah. Geez, you don't like me.
Oh, she was fine.
And so once that happens, it kind of sets the stage for the third act. And by the way, in between all this, you do have some B plots that maybe didn't quite work where, they keep going back to where all these suitors for Penelope, played by Anne Hathaway,
on Ithaca,
right? They are just eating him out of house and home, right? They're just like, hey, we've been here for 3 years. Your husband's never coming back. Marry one of us.
plot to kill the Tom Holland.
Yeah. And Tom Holland, they're like, hey, fight us so we can kill you. He kind of goes away and he runs into another storytelling device. Is John Bernthal's character. Starts with an M. But anyways.
Oh, there's no way of knowing.
And you get a little more backstory between his brother Agamemnon and Helen of Troy. And it's told so quickly. That's the part I went, okay.
The Iliad flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was like, that's fine. I mean, it's all about hubris. Like, I get it. But it really seemed like...
Well, it was also, that was framing the, don't just go back home and expect everything to be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was, that was good to see, I suppose.
Yeah. And so, but like after that, it was almost kind of like portrayed that Tom Holland's character like went through some growth because maybe he wasn't expected to really come back. Obviously, the suitors wanted him dead before he ever came back. But even his mom seemed surprised that he would even come back because they had a little tiff. And like you said, Anne Hathaway, like overdoing it.
Yeah, she was just doing too much.
Yeah.
She was kind of... I mean, again, I get that she's been going through a lot, waiting for her husband for 20 years, but she was kind of at an 11 the whole time.
Right. All right, Zach, I've been talking too much. Lead us into the reunion.
Yeah. So again, you've got this whole story about a guy coming home, and you think, oh, he's going to be home and going to be so happy. But he, I think appropriately, is kind of withdrawn, hoping that, I need to scope out if I'm even wanted here, what's going on. In the original Odyssey, like, he's really concerned if his wife has been faithful to him, even though he has not been faithful to her.
Right.
That's an element here, but it doesn't feel like the primary.
It skirts over it pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. But, we get a good scene with John Leguizamo's character, who is blind. And again, I said it just kind of in passing. I really liked John Leguizamo.
Yes,
but yeah, it's setting up going. I'm back, but what's the state of things? How can I impact it? And then he happens upon this situation where all these suitors are in his home, essentially, and taking all those resources. But what they represent is what's bad, what's going to be bad.
Yeah.
They are a problem and need to be dealt with.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, I mean, and they do kind of like a slow roll where no one really has seen Odysseus. No one knows who he really looks like outside of his wife.
Right.
And so he is a beggar, is what they call him. He's hooded the whole time. In fact, his son doesn't. They work together. He saves his son's life, and his son doesn't know who he is.
He does when he figures it out after he sees the puppy. There's a 20-year-old dog, which I looked up was apparently like some like ancient breed of dog, of which there are only very like 35 or 75.
Do they live that long?
They don't live that long, but it is that dog was a very rare type of dog.
Interesting.
In real life.
Yeah. And so basically there's this setup which could be precarious where it's like he tells his son, hey, set this up. Tell your mom that she needs to choose one suitor. We need to get everyone out of the house or you're going to be killed and I'm going to be killed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Penelope, the mom, has her own plan to do something. And it's kind of like, oh, this could go poorly for all these people because these suitors are ready to throw down at any point. And so they set up the games, essentially. It's like, can you string my husband's bow and shoot the arrow through these axes?
Because he did it in one flashback scene.
Yeah.
And that's, Odysseus is the only person that was ever able to string the bow.
Right.
So obviously we know where that's going.
Right. It's like a Robin Hood moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But in a way, like it works so perfectly because like they make sure none of the suitors have weapons. Granted, they do get them, but it's a way
lock everybody in.
It's a way for Christopher Nolan to film action, which he's always kind of like, I'm talking close quarter combat, which I always kind of struggled at. How'd you feel he did in this?
I think it will be, I'm sure it'll be dissected, but it has the appropriate frantic energy that it needs. And I think that was maybe the biggest criticism of The Dark Knight is it didn't. But, this essentially, at the end when they do the scene from Carrie where everybody's locked in. I think it works really well. And you have a good context of the space and it gives Matt Damon as Odysseus the chance to be appropriately heroic.
Yeah.
But it is maybe a little too frantic, but I did still, from a spatial sense, know what was going on. And that is, again, something he struggled with in the past.
Yeah. It is one of those things where they could play this song from Kingsman and, have that be the church scene or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then he gets injured almost fatally. Right. And I was kind of like, wait, it's been a while. Does he reveal himself to his wife and then die?
Yeah. I'm back.
Yeah, is it one of those like noble sacrifice things like I've returned, but we are like right at the end of the movie here.
Yeah.
Tom Holland knows, Anne Hathaway knows, and it then kind of goes back and forth, flash forward to when Tom Holland, Ptolemaeus or whatever, he accepts the throne, and because of the killings, Odysseus and Penelope are sent into exile, which they are more than happy to take.
Yeah.
Right. Because their dream was always to run away.
Yeah.
Into the horizon.
We'll go off into the...
yeah. Right.
They go off into the West and they have a plan to honor the fallen soldiers, honor their dead. And they're stoked on it because they're just finally together. Essentially, they go, retire to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, it's so true. Did you feel like they obviously referenced the law of Zeus so much, but they also reference like, what are we going to do with the dead?
Yeah.
They talked about that like 18 times.
It's a theme a lot.
Like I get it. Soldiers, like you got to, do we bury this person or do we have to run at this point? Do we burn the body? But they talk about it a lot.
I think it goes to show like it is about the rules. It is about the cultural thing. Decorum.
Yeah.
And then that's why the sort of breakdown at the end of, Odysseus going, I didn't come back home because I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of my actions. And all this talk about the law of Zeus and the formalities of it are a huge deal to him and everyone else. And so I think that was all in service of really feeling the weight of, no, the Trojan horse it was a jerk move.
And so, they finally, because they've been shortchanging you as the audience the entire time about the Trojan War. And then they finally go, let's see why this guy's so tormented. And he says, we got in and then we killed everybody.
Yeah.
They show the barbarism, and he's walking through, and he's a little stunned, and he's a guy who's been a general for his entire life. And he's like, oh, we've done something bad here.
Because they're not just fighting the soldiers.
Yeah.
They're snuck into the city, so they're taking out everyone in the city.
And they do this really, I think, creative thing where, and I think with Zendaya especially, because people may say a stunt casting at Zendaya, like, of course, whatever, put her in every movie.
Yeah.
But they do this thing, and people may be like, oh, she doesn't look like a goddess or whatever.
Yeah, she's Athena.
Here's the thing. When they storm the Temple of Athena, and they do obviously the clever cuts where, you know, the statue gets its head cut off at the same time that the servant girl played by Zendaya, working in the Temple of Athena, is getting her head cut off. And you're like, oh, well done.
Yeah.
Because
So
the servant of Athena represents Athena.
Yes. And she had been acting as a sort of conscience for him.
Yes.
And we find out at that moment
Why?
that it's his guilt.
Yes.
He is wrecked with guilt over it. And he has made this, you know, essentially nobody
A goddess.
a goddess.
Yes.
She is Athena.
And I was like, oh, way to go.
Yeah.
So truly, I loved the fight. I love him fighting against all the suitors. But then that was maximized almost like to an A- quality, honestly, for me, when they go back and show the Trojan War and the city burning down. And you know, Nolan and all of his excess glory is burning a set down that they just built.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah.
Like-
it really brings it all together.
Yeah.
Because you might wonder if you wanted to go back so badly, why? And they built the appropriate way to go, no, here's why.
Yeah.
He didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
He's ashamed.
Yes.
There was also the sort of, you know, mention, how does he find out that he didn't actually want to go back? Was that with the sirens?
Oh, yeah. The sirens reminded him everything. They
Yeah.
said, so during the siren scene, everyone puts wax in theirs except for one guy rips the wax out because he wants to hear the siren song and because it's a bunch of obscure nude women sitting on rocks, right? And these warriors obviously are like, wait, what? Oh, siren song? He wants to, Odysseus is tied to the mast. He has no wax because he's like, I want to experience
I
the
want to be
song.
the only person to hear the siren song and live.
Once again,
really dumb.
hubris of Odysseus. That's a good name. He hears it, but it shows muted. Like you hear the score play instead of the siren song, and you see
As if you had the wax.
You see the joy and anguish in Odysseus's face, and then they just say, and I didn't like that it was a tell don't show moment, but they say like, what did you hear? And he's like, the greatest thing you would ever want to hear, and the worst thing you'd ever want to hear, and it told me all the reasons I should never go back home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, so just guilt.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to not.
Do you feel like we would have been more satisfied if we walked out being like, it's fine?
No, I don't know. No, I liked that it won me over.
Yeah.
I liked that it was cool. And I liked that who has become my favorite director made another good movie.
Yeah.
It might not be the best.
Sure.
Not the best movie. Maybe not the best Sword and Sandal. But I thought that it was, well done, well made. Mm-hmm. And while I might not love all of the characters and the casting choices, I think that Matt Damon does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson does a great job. Mm-hmm. And the one buddy, John Leguizamo.
Yeah, Hamish Patel, who plays the right-hand man.
Patel, yeah. He was good.
Yeah.
Benny Safdie is apparently also in this movie for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because he's
Heavily obscured.
He's Agamemnon.
Agamemnon, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's like, why are we being so weird about Benny Safdie? It's like, oh my gosh, is that Benny Safdie? What?
Look at his curls.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, so if you stuck with us this far, hopefully you've read the book or you're still going to see the movie. Please let us know if you decide to go to it this weekend and on what size of screen, because this is a big screen movie.
See it in IMAX, but maybe bring some wax for your own ears.
Love that.
It's really loud.
It's really loud.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye. can see that guy's tush, but also nice tush.